Today on TimmyTechTV, we're going to take a look at the Fractal Design Node 804. Stay tuned. Okay guys, today we have the Fractal Design Node 804, graciously provided by Fractal Design for me to take a look at and review. Let's go ahead and get down to it. So on the front of the case, guys, you can see we actually have real aluminum. So a lot of theirs are plastic, brushed to look like aluminum. This is real aluminum, so be careful. You can get fingerprints on it, you can scratch it. You have your nice air intake along the bottom here for those front fans you can populate, and we'll get into that in a second. On the side, we have a slot load DVD, your microphone, your headphone, your power button, and two USB 3.0s. On the back, we have two pre-populated fans, and there is one pre-populated in the front as well for a total of 3, with a 3-speed fan controller that can control 3 fans. You have 5, which is nice in an m-atx case, 5 PCI slots. Your motherboard knockout, your PSU area, and up here we have the top of the case, which is a filtered top, and it looks to me like this case is set up for negative airflow, which means everything is really well filtered. So you have that filtered mesh in here that the top of the ARC series especially has. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to take off this top and clean it out very well. You're just going to have to wash kind of the whole top. That's not the end of the world. So this is a view, the top down. You can see lots of mounting places for radiators here. So the drawback, and you'll see this when we get inside the case, is you have to take out the hard drives if you want to use this side for a radiator. You can only do a radiator, a 240 radiator on this side because the motherboard is too close to the top. So you can put 140 fans on this side, but you cannot put 140 fans and a radiator. On the PSU side, you can do both. If you remove both drive trays, you can do 240 or 280. In push-pull even, because there's that much room there when these cages are out. Now, a lot of reviews that I was checking out before doing mine, just to make sure I hadn't missed anything, was complaining that if you remove one drive tray, that you can't put a fan here. And my honest opinion on that is, first of all, this is the hard drive side, the PSU side. So if you're going to need an exhaust fan, you're going to need it on the motherboard side. The second thing is, there's an exhaust fan included in the back, and frankly, if a fan in the front and a fan in the back aren't enough to draw airflow through all those hard drives, then you may want to look at a different case, because I don't know that you would necessarily need this space for an exhaust fan, even an intake fan. So yes, it sucks that you can't take one out and put a fan here, but in my opinion, I don't think anybody's actually going to do that. And I may be wrong, correct me in the comments. That said, let's go ahead and get the power supply side open. Another thing that would be nice are the screws that stay in. I know Linus has been talking about this on pretty much every case now that doesn't come with them. And that's why, because you just saw that one escaped on me. So it's not a lot more cost-wise. It probably is a little bit more manufacturing-wise. But for the end consumer, it'd just be nice to see. And that's just being picky about stuff. But NZXT does it, and it'd be nice just to see everybody to do it. So here we have those sleds, and this is your typical, Fractal Design, nice white powder-coated metal. No 2.5 drives here, unfortunately. And they're all hanging. Now this is the thing that I don't like, because I feel like there was enough room here that they could have, put them in front loading. I just don't like hanging drives like this. I would much rather see them seated in with drive caddies, and then you could put 2.5s over here as well. PSU has 4 shock mounts, has is filtered, but the filter, and we'll take a look at this in a second, the filter actually comes out this direction, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. However, love the Velcro cable management ties. It's a neat feature. Let's take a look at the bottom there real quick before we flip over to the other side. One of my conundrums about this case, and I know it's because of the feet, but this, which is basically just, you know, for the video card air intake, you're not really going to put graphic or fans down there, goes out the back and is huge. This one, which is the one you're probably going to clean the most often because it's your power supply, goes out forward and hits the Velcro. So you have to wedge it over the Velcro, and it basically means you're tipping your case over on its side to get that out. You're not getting it out any other way. So that kind of sucks. However, I do love the Velcro, so I'm willing to sacrifice having to go over the Velcro. At the same time, it would have been nice if it just went out the back. The side panel is clearer, hello, than normal. It is not, it is, I would say it's not smoked at all is what I would say. Whereas the art cases have a pretty heavily smoked side window. The top here you can see, nice open. There's one of your included fans. The front is filtered, and we'll get to that in a minute. In the back here, we have your 3 fan headers with a SATA connector. Way to go. It's about time people started switching over to those. And your nice big generous motherboard cutout tray. But remember guys, for this cutout you're going to have to remove your hard drives if you ever need to swap something. So if you have some hard drives hanging here and you want to swap out a cooler, you're going to have to uncable and remove all of your hard drives. Well, at least the ones on this side. Down in the bottom where that filtered area is, there are holes for 2.5 or 3.5. I don't like this because it's going to block the bottom slot. So if you do have a dual slot video card in that bottom slot, you're not going to be able to use those. You're going to, because you need that 5th knockout, and it kind of takes away the reason for that 5th knockout. But I kind of understand, you know, they want to give you a little extra flexibility, and that's great. Now, like I said, the top, because the motherboard is so close to the top of the case, you can't actually do anything more than 140 fans on the top. You cannot put 140 fans and a 280 radiator. So around the front of the case, we have my favorite feature of this case, and I'll hold it sideways, is the included 2.5-inch kits. It would have been kind of cool if they could have added another one here and let you take it out if you wanted to use the slot load DVD. But I'll take the 2 because everybody should do this. You have your front panel connectors here, and on the inside we have the fan filters, which actually go out the bottom, so I'm not going to take them out. It would have been really nice to see these a little different arranged, because it means you're basically flipping your case over any time on this case that you want to remove a fan filter. So that's a little unfortunate. It does have nice pass-throughs here, here, and here for those 2.5-inch drives, so cabling them should not be a problem at all. So how do we wrap up this review? I think this case has some good features, and unfortunately a lot of features that confuse me. The things I really like, the design. Obviously, standard Fractal design. They haven't gone far from home on this one. It's still minimalistic, and that's what I like in the exterior of my case. They have given you a nice clear side window. It's not as smoked as most of their previous side windows, and it just looks good. I also like that they've included 3 of their Silent Series fans. Great fans, especially included in a price point this low. The last thing that I really like is the 2.5s in the front cover. I feel like that's a great use of that space, I wish they would have put 2 more there, because it does look like they could have scraped out the room and put 4 up there. But my guess is they think probably most people don't run more than 2 SSDs, which I run 6. So I'm a corner case. That's fine. Things that I'm really confused about, they give you awesome radiator support with massive sacrifices. So, if you want to use the fronts, you have to take out, you can't put in the slot load DVD. You make some sacrifices on the other side. If you want to put in a 240 or a 280 on the power supply side, you have to take out all the hard drive trays. You can't put a 280 in the motherboard side. You can only put a 240 because it's too thick and the motherboard doesn't have enough headroom to put a fan and a radiator. I don't like the 3.5 or 2.5 mounts on the bottom. I get they're trying to maximize the space in such a small case, but it takes away that 5th slot. So if you're running dual video cards, or you want to put something that's dual height in the very bottom slot of your motherboard, then you can't do that. I do like the fact that it's ventilated down there, but that said, the ventilation on the motherboard side pulls out from the back. The ventilation on the power supply side, which is going to be likely the fan that gets the dirtiest because it's going to do most of the intake from the bottom of the case, actually pulls toward the front and isn't a full-length filter. So I was kind of confused about that. I'm really unsure why it doesn't come out the back like the other side. It would have been nice to see, things be the same on the fan filter side. I'm also not the biggest fan of the fan filters in the front. They pull out through the bottom. It would have been nice to see, maybe remove the top and have those 2 fan filters come out the top. Would have been a ton easier for people to take out those fans, because those are really going to be dirty fans, filters too. People could have more easily taken them out had you made it come out the top, because otherwise you have to lean the case over on its side and pull them out the bottom. And if you have all your cables and everything, that's kind of a nuisance. There is no eject button on the DVD, which, sure, how often do you use a DVD? And yes, you can eject it from the OS, but it's still, it would have been nice to see just even a little pass-through button to be able to hit to do an eject. It would have been nice to see the fan controller pre-wired, because there are 3. You can power 3 fans from the fan controller. There are 3 fans in the case. Would have been nice to see those pre-wired for people and pre-cable managed. I also am not a big fan of the huge cutouts in the front of the motherboard tray. I would have much rather seen a smaller hole there and a larger cutout across the bottom or across the top, anywhere that you could have managed cables. But the way it is, you have this nice big window and you're going to kind of rinky-dink the cables around in there. And other than that, for the size of case it is, it's amazing the amount of stuff you can put in here. However, it's just not a case for me personally. I don't like this form factor. Had it had a vertical, that's vertical. Had it had a horizontal tray, then you could, I think it would have been a better sell. Like, you could have had the hard drives going in flat, keep everything down below. You could have massive amounts of room in the top for radiators, big room in the front for radiators. So I love Fractal design cases, guys, and I'm not going to recommend this one. To me, for what I use it for, it just wouldn't suit my needs, and I think it makes too many compromises for, what you get. Frankly, if you want to water cool, if you want to, do awesome stuff in a small form factor, what's wrong with an Arc Mini? This is Tim for TimmyTechTV. We'll see you guys next time.